We're now on Dcad lesson 13B, having to do continuing with drawing organization and sheet notes. So one of the things I want to do from our previous lesson is make a little correction here. I'm going to zoom up on by hitting Z, zoom up here on this area of the sheet notes, and I'm going to want to replace this. Zoom up a little closer, hitting Z. I'm going to want to replace this note, and the reason is we're going to do a more extensive note on the floor slab and the foundation plan, which will still be on this sheet. So we don't want to really repeat sheet notes where we don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control M to zoom back out. I'm going to select all of these sheet notes below that last inner sheet note, and move near my handle and hit the comma for to move the point, and then hit M, and I'm going to hold my shift down, hit the arrow 3 times, 2, 3, and then hit enter. And so now we have the original spacing here for a 2-line sheet note. So I'm going to zoom back up on that and select both of these red text. And I'm going to, actually what I'll do is just right click on the bottom of this one and hold down shift and click on the other one. And I'm going to hit N to copy them, and right click near the bottom of the 4-inch concrete floor slab sheet note and delete that. And select it and then hit delete. The reason is I'm going to be moving on with other sheet notes. So we're not only doing our floor plan sheet notes, but we're also going to be dealing with foundation sheet notes and roof framing and several other items on this same sheet. So we're just going to kind of continue these sheet notes on down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on my Google Sheets that we're using for the sheet notes, and I'm going to start on foundation sheet notes next. And you can see that our next foundation sheet notes are actually 6 lines. And so, since we're using 3 minor keystrokes for each line, and it's already set up for 2 lines with the 2 red text lines. Let me click back on the Dcad. We have these 2 red text lines already. So since we're going to have 6 lines total for this next sheet note, that means I have 4 more text lines that I need to move things down. And one thing that's really important that I want to say again is if you hit Q, it pulls up the options menu in Dcad, and you want to click on cursor and make sure that your large cursor step size is on 1 and your small step size is on 0.175. That's half the height of the text. And so we're good there. So that means it takes 3 small cursor steps for each line of text that we're adding or taking away as we adjust these as we go. So I'm going to hit Control M again, and I'm going to select everything below our next text. And since we have 4 additional text lines that are going to be added to the 2 we already have, and there's 3 steps per line, that means we have a total of 4 small cursor steps that we have to do. Have to move things down in order to accommodate those 6 lines of text. So I'm going to move my cursor over here and hit the comma for gravity move, and hit M. Hold down the shift key and hit the arrow key 12 times. And then I'm going to hit enter. So there's quite a gap here now, but you'll see that's going to be filled in pretty quickly when we do our 6 lines of text. So the other thing I want to do is right now you can see we're still in layer 2. And if I click the down arrow there and scroll down a little bit, because I want to now be putting my next group of notes in the foundation text. So that's layer 16. So I'm going to click on that, and it'll give us a warning saying an invisible layer will be changed to a visible current layer. And we're good with that, so we're going to click yes. So now our next groups of text will be in layer 16 because they're associated with the foundation plan. So now I'm going to click down here on my Google Sheets, and this first foundation note is, like I said, a 6-line on. So I'm going to click on this first cell and just drag on down till I've selected all 6. And I'm going to hit Control C. That copies it to the clipboard. Go into Dcad, and now I'm going to go over here to the text box and hold down my left button, and it flies out with additional options to the right. And I'm going to click on this one, which is, if you look down in the lower left-hand corner, it says Draw a Multi-Line Text Block. So I'm going to just click on that. And there's a couple things we want to take a look at. The angle is right now at 0. We want that angle to be at 90, so I'm going to enter that. And I'm going to just click into this text block, and I'm going to right-click and paste. And so here's our 6 lines of text. And now I'm going to click on the title bar and hit Z to zoom up here. And I'm going to right-click near the top left corner of the existing red text. And then I'm just going to hit my scroll button, and it enters it in. So I'm going to now just select this red text, and I'm going to activate the info box so I can make sure that I'm just selecting items that are red, and pull it down out of the way, and then I'm going to hit delete, and it's gone. And so there's our 6 lines dealing with the floor slab within the foundation plan. So now I'm going to go back to Google Sheets, and my next notes are 3 lines of text. So since I have, clicking back on Dcad, since I have 2, I only have 1 additional one. So again, as it's 3 small cursor steps per line, I'm going to be moving all the stuff below this down 3 small cursor steps. So I'm going to hit Control M again to zoom back to my last position. And I'm going to select all of this below the red text and get near my handle and hit the comma for gravity move, and then hit M, hold down Shift, and arrow down 3 small cursor steps. 1, 2, 3, and then let off and hit Enter. So now I'm zooming back up to this area here, and I'm going back to Google Sheets. And I have my 3 lines here that I want to do next. So I'm going to hit Escape. Actually, I'll just click here. Hold it down. Hold my left button down and select all 3. And Control C to copy to the clipboard. Going back to Dcad and going into the text block area over here. And I'm going to just click on that. And everything's the previous entries of text are already highlighted, so I can enter something in and it'll just replace that. So if I hit Control V, it just replaces it with the new information from the clipboard. So I can just bring that over to here and right click and hit my scroll button, and there's our 3 lines of text. Now I'm going to select those 2 red items and pull this up just to make sure that's all I'm getting, and hit delete to get rid of those. So now I can go back to Google Sheets and see that my next text entries are actually 4 lines. Now, one thing I should be doing as I'm moving along is turning these red so that I know that I've already entered them. So I'm going to just select all these ones that I've already done and go up here to the text color and turn those red. So that way I'm clear that I've already dealt with those are already in the drawing. So now I have 4 lines of text here. I'm going to click on the first one and just drag my cursor on down and select all 4 and hit Control C to copy to the clipboard, and you can see the little dashed line around the 4 cells that are selected. I'm going back to Dcad here in my tray and clicking on it to open it up. Now, since I have 2 additional lines, already have 2 here, I have 2 additional lines at 3 small cursor steps each. That means I have to move things down 6 small cursor steps. So I'm going to hit Control M again and select all this stuff down below it. Get near my handle and gravity move by hitting the comma and hit M for move. Hold my Shift button down. My small step size will be done by using the down arrow and holding Shift down. And I need to do that 6 times. Okay, and then let off and hit Enter. Now I can hit escape and zoom back up to this area, and going back to into Google Sheets, and these have already been selected and they've already been copied. So I'm going back to Dcad, hitting pulling up the text block, hitting Control V, and here's my 4 lines of text. I'm just going to get near this one, and near the upper left-hand corner of the text, right-click, it goes to it, and hit my scroll button, and it enters it in. So I'm selecting these 2 red lines of text now and deleting them. So Control M. So you can see that we're moving on down with decent spacing between our groups of text, or our specific notes, so that they're easily readable. I'm going to zoom up on them a little bit closer so you can see more clearly. They're easy to designate one note from the next. There's enough space between them so that it ends up pretty neat and orderly and readable. So now we're going to go back to Google Sheets and click on it, and I'm going to turn these all red since we've already entered them into Dcad. And so those guys are all red. So now we have our roof framing sheet notes next. I'm going to go ahead and enter those in. Our next text is 3 lines. And so I'm going to go ahead and just select those 3 lines. Hit Control C to copy them to the clipboard. Go back to Dcad and hit, and I'm just going to hit Control W to zoom all the way out. Zoom up on the, hitting Z, zoom up on the sheet notes, and select everything below those 2 lines of text. Get near my handle, gravity move, hitting comma, and then hit M for move. Hold down Shift and move down this 3 small cursor steps. 1, 2, 3. Let off and hit Enter. Now I can hit Escape, zoom up to this area here. Oops. Zoom up to this area here, hitting Z. And I'm going to click on the text block, and also Control V. There's our 3 lines of text. Right click up here, hit my scroll button, it's entered in. Now I have to select the red text and then hit delete, and it's gone. So now I'm going to go back to Google Sheets again, and this is a one-liner, just 2 words, walls below. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on that and hit Escape to unselect what I had before, and then hit Control C. So this is now copied into the clipboard. And so in this case, we're going to do what we did kind of in the previous lesson. I'm going to go back to Dcad and Control M to move down so that I can see all of this. And I'm going to right click on the lower text to select it and hit delete. And now I'm going to select all this text down below it and gravity move by hitting the comma to the handle and hit M. Hold down Shift and move up 3 small cursor step sizes, because we're actually losing a line of text. 1, 2, 3, and hit Enter. Okay, so this time I'm going to zoom up, and I'm just going to select the text, and in my info box I'm going to select it inside the info box and hit Control V and copy our text in there. I'm going to hit Enter. And it's still red, as you can see in the info box, so I'm just going to go over here, because black is our color, and you can see it over here in this toolbar indicating what the current color is. And I'm just going to hit the A over here, the color apply to selection. And you see it turns black in the info box. So I'm going to pull the info box out of the way and Control M to zoom back out a little ways. And I'm going to click on back into Google Sheets, and all of these I can now turn red because they've been entered in. So the next sheet notes will have to do with the Section AA sheet notes, and we're going to deal with those in a lesson down range. But this basically deals with the rest of the sheet notes for now that we're doing in our main working drawing. So I'm going to go back into Dcad. I'm going to hit Control W to zoom out and hit Save. So now what we've done is we've entered in these additional sheet notes, and we've entered in those sheet notes. Let me just zoom up on this area. But here's something that we've done. So these last two sheet notes that we've entered in were still in layer 16. So I'm going to change those because those have to be addressed in the notes, in the text notes for the roof framing plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these last two sheet notes, and I'm going to pull up the info box, and I'm going to change those. I'm going to scroll down here till we get to layer 37, and this is text RF, text for roof framing. So I'm going to make all those in layer 37, and actually you can see that 37 isn't even activated right now. It's not even visible, but I'm going to go ahead and stick them in there. They disappear. I'm going to go up to layers, hit L for layers, and scroll down to layer 37, and unlock that and open it up, and there they magically reappear. So that takes care of our sheet notes for now. And that concludes Dcad lesson 13B, having to do with drawing organization and sheet notes.